Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the High Value Agent Podcast, where we inspire people to create a better life through real estate. And I am joined today with my partner in crime, our Director of Operations here at Silverline Real Estate Group, Amanda Dalessandro. How are you doing, Amanda?
Doing well. How are you?
I love my life. So I am good. And I'm excited to have you with me today because we just got back from somewhere that is deemed like a
hmm
very popular vacation spot.
Yes, of
It's a
course.
beautiful area. I've never been before. So this was my first trip. Where did we go, Amanda?
We went to Lake Tahoe,
Lake Tahoe. So,
but
so uh,
specifically,
yes, yes.
specifically the real estate event of the year for leaders and operators.
There we go. It was one of the top masterminds, and
Mhm,
honestly, probably one of the best events that you could
mhm,
really go to if you are an operator, like she mentioned, or you lead a team, or you lead a brokerage. I think being in that room is the energy is just unreal. It's
mhm,
unreal. And we're fired up. Like we got back and we were like, okay, what is going to be the 1 to 3 things that we implement? And we're so fired up to where I said, Amanda, we got to hop on a pod.
mhm.
We gotta share this with other people that couldn't make it out. So what we want to do is just give you guys all of our takeaways, like tons of notes. And
Yeah.
this is not like we're gonna literally fire from the hip. Like I'm literally
Mhm,
looking at my notes
mhm,
on my iPhone, and I have that pulled up, and we're just gonna go through. And I'm sure Amanda has a lot of notes that she
mhm,
wrote down. Okay.
mhm.
All right. So Amanda, get us started. Like where do you want to start? What's the takeaway that you want to start with?
Oh man, there's so many. I mean, the first one is just the overall energy, just being in that room of high level operators and team leaders. The average um, transaction count per year for that room that we were in was over 500. There are teams in there that are closing 4,000 transactions, 2,000 transactions, and the leaders and the operators and their business partners, they were in those rooms just gathering knowledge. And you probably think like, well, at that point they probably have everything figured out, but no, they don't have everything figured out. They have a good flow of what they're doing, and they're contributing as much information and knowledge as they possibly can, but they're also there to learn and get takeaways because everybody's growing. You constantly have to grow. If you're not growing, you're dying. So everybody is in that room to contribute and to gather knowledge from people who are doing things at such a high level. So just to be able to be in that environment was so critical. I know it's been on our like goal to go to this event for a long time. It just hadn't worked with scheduling and just different things like that. So grateful that we were able to actually attend in person because in person is just so much. It's just another level. Obviously, we've watched recordings before and things like that, but being able to attend in person, being able to talk face to face with some of the people that we've talked with via Zoom, or some of our coaches, or some of the founders and owners of some of the high level systems that we use, be able to pick their brains about things. So that is just an overall huge takeaway. And then obviously, just the speaker lineup is insane of who the speakers were, and the knowledge that they were able to provide is just great. So I'm excited to dive in to some of those things. Like Antoine said, lots of notes, lots of like really cool, like just quotes to grab from people. And I'm excited to rewatch all the recordings and dive a little bit deeper. And one thing that was so amazing was, again, these were all extremely high level people, extremely high level operators that were taking time away from their teams to come here to speak. And they were all giving away value adds. They were all giving away free downloadable things at the end of
Mhm.
their training sessions. Like one person, his name is Tyler Blair. He was the very last speaker. But he brought the energy. But he gave away literally like a 25-page document of his whole onboarding process. It's like, here you go. This is what we do to onboard agents. And we're absolutely crushing it, closing like 800 transactions or something like that, and bringing on so many agents. And they're just giving away this value because they know to keep it, you have to give it away
Yep.
because people, it's just such a value add. So just things like that. So I'm excited to get into some of the quotes and stuff like that.
For sure.
Mhm.
John Cheplak knows how to throw. And
Yes.
John Cheplak knows how to facilitate an
Hmm.
environment of high level thinkers and achievers, don't he?
Oh
He
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So shout out to John. We love you. We appreciate you
Hmm.
for doing stuff like this. It really does make an impact, man. So I know I'll tell you that a lot, but we really appreciate
Yeah.
this. We'll hop into it. So
Yeah.
I can kind of get us rolling real quick. Here's a quote,
Cool.
and I probably gonna take this is probably one that you were gonna share. So I
I know,
apologize.
probably.
Um, consistency, consistency creates success, not the other way around.
Hmm.
When you're consistent, that creates whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. That gets you to the promised land. I think people think that if I get to where I want to get to, then I'll start being more consistent and it works out
Hmm.
that way, but it doesn't. Okay. So
Hmm.
that was one that was very simple for me.
Hmm.
And I felt like, man, that's a beautiful quote that we need to put on the wall. Like
Yeah.
consistency creates success.
Yeah. Another way that somebody had put it was successful people don't get successful, then get disciplined, then get consistent. They
Yeah.
have those traits, they build those habits, and all of that, like you mentioned, leads to that success. Um, Another thing that was kind of mentioned that has to do a little bit with it is it's an inside job, not an outside job.
Mhm.
So people think that something's just going to happen to them, that one day something's going to fall into their lap, but we're not doing the inner work
Yeah,
to be able to capture those opportunities when they actually potentially do come. So once we start looking outside, once we start pointing fingers like about why things aren't happening the way we want them to happen, just to pull out a mirror and see what you're doing, if you're even doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's like, okay, we haven't nobody's joining our team. It's like, okay, well, have we been making the recruiting phone calls? Have we been asking people to join our team? It's like, no, people aren't just going to come and knock on the door.
right.
So, yeah. Another big one was that which you resist, persist.
Mhm.
So if you resist things, you're continually resisting being uncomfortable, things like that. You're going to continue to be uncomfortable because you're not moving forward in your life. To the place that you want to be. So you keep resisting the uncomfortable things, you keep resisting moving forward. Well, then your uncomfortableness is it's just going to stay because it's just going to persist. All those issues that you're dealing with, they're just going to persist because you're resisting any sort of change uh, to make anything better. So just tons of like really great quotes like that.
For sure. No, that's good. I like that a lot because
Hmm.
when they like we talked a lot of there was a lot of talk about recruiting.
Hmm.
But the one that stood out to me the most was Dustin Runyon's. He really talked about the inner work, and that was kind
Hmm.
of what you touched on was like the inner work and being able to understand we got to go deep in the personal development side of things if we want our business to follow. And so I think that's beautiful. Um, Elite isn't about being better than others. It's about being a little better than yesterday. And
Hmm.
standards are more important than goals. Those
Hmm.
were a couple takeaways that I got that I wrote down in my notes. And also, too, daily minimum standards matter even more than big visions because
Hmm.
some people have
Yeah.
this big vision and they get overwhelmed by it or it feels good to have a vision, but they don't have a daily minimum standard that is required to do
Hmm.
daily that's going to move them every even if it's an inch that day. That minimum standard is going to move them forward every single day towards the vision. So the standards are more important than the vision or the goals. I thought that was a
Hmm.
good one. What's one you got?
Absolutely. Let's see. Taking extreme personal responsibility, that was a very common theme throughout many of the speakers. Matt Smith, he kind of kicked it off when he spoke on a couple different things. He spoke on building a database, how to set standards for leadership for their agents, for their team, on building out the database and things like that. But he talked a lot on leadership as well. And
Mm,
it kind of just spews into every aspect of a business, whether you're a leader or an agent or whatever you are. Having the language of, I wish my agents would, or I wish my clients would. Um, removing that from your language and just taking, once again, holding that mirror up to yourself and taking extreme personal responsibility of what are you doing to create that? What is your culture doing to create that? Rather than, like, again, pointing the finger out of saying, man, I wish this client would just understand what I'm saying. It's like, okay, well, have you done everything that you can possibly do? Have you sent recap emails? Have you sat down with them in person again to try to get them to understand? Or I wish my agents would make more phone calls. It's like, okay, well, what are we doing to maybe prevent that? How's the culture right now? Just different things like that, of just always looking inward, and to see how we can help change things, what we can do to help facilitate the best environment for people.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good.
Mhm.
Somebody, I can't remember who it was, so I feel bad that I don't remember. It may have been Dustin again, but no, I think it was Matt actually. Leadership is the responsibility to do more, not permission to do less.
Mhm.
Leadership is a responsibility to do more, not permission to do less. That really rung a bell for me because we're going to be making key hires here soon.
Mhm.
And there's also people within the company that they want to be formal leaders. Like
Mhm.
maybe they're informal leaders, but they're wanting to be formal leaders. And understanding there's people that in other organizations that are deemed very high level leaders,
Mhm.
they took on a responsibility in the title of leader, but they also expanded their responsibility and took pride in that and embraced
Mhm.
it, right? And so I think some people do it the wrong way. They want the title, but they don't want the work and the commitment
Mhm.
behind it. So I thought that
Yeah.
was pretty good. One other thing to share, and it's kind of moving into something that John Cheplak said was recruiting is our company's oxygen.
Mhm.
Sales is our company's food. We
Mhm.
can't eat if we can't fucking breathe, is the way you said it.
Mhm.
So understanding to keep the main thing for our company where we're at
Yeah.
in our, and this will probably never change.
Mhm.
If we get up to 20 to 30 to 50 people within the organization, recruiting is the oxygen. And we need to
Yeah.
constantly be recruiting and bringing in new and better talent. Like,
Mhm.
no disrespect to nobody, but like
Yeah.
we constantly want to find even better people to bring in because our culture expands in a positive direction. So
Mhm.
back to you, AD.
Yeah, I mean, just to continue with recruiting, it's been something that's been not necessarily, I mean, it just hasn't been a priority for us. We say that it's a priority, but our actions are not proving that it's a priority because we aren't, doing the things that we're told to help build these recruiting funnels and all of this stuff to actually build that recruiting pipeline. So many people mention this, and they did showed us exercises on this of just like how much as an organization you spend on tracking numbers for conversion ratios to get a buyer or a seller, tracking all this stuff for marketing, spending all this money to get leads for buying and selling and all of that stuff, when an agent over their lifetime with your company is going to make you a whole lot more money than one buyer or seller. So why are you not tracking your numbers there? Why are you not tracking what you're doing in that aspect? So that's something, again, we just have to make the full focus, make sure we're tracking everything. Recruiting is the only thing that matters, and can, recruiting to the standard of what we want our organization to be. Um,
Mhm.
I know this was something last year where we hadn't necessarily brought on too many new people for a little while. We were getting ready to bring on some new people that we were excited about. They were finishing up their courses and stuff like that. But right before they came on, we were feeling really defeated with some of the productivity of the agents. We were thinking that we were wrong in certain areas, even considering bringing down our conversation requirement for people to be on new lead routing. We were going
Mhm.
to reduce that by a considerable amount because we're like, maybe it is impossible, maybe it is too high of a standard for our agents. And then we get this new wave of people. We coach them to the standard and they blow it out of the
We
water.
coach them to
Like,
the sub, the
yeah, subculture of
yeah,
what
the
we wanted.
subculture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
what we wanted. And they blew it out of the water,
Mhm.
to where we're looking at our OG agents and we're like, what the heck? They're doing it. Why
Mhm.
haven't you been doing it this whole time? So it really helps coach people up. And now our standard of conversation is like 10x what it was just like a year and a half ago. So that just is one thing that proves recruiting is the oxygen, because it breathes life back into your organization.
Yep. So good. That's so good. We can stay in the recruiting stuff. I think that when you are when you're recruiting, you gotta, and Amanda mentioned it, and John talks about it all the time, you gotta treat it like its own business.
Hmm.
Like recruiting is its own business. And when you recruit, you have your culture and then you have your subculture. Your culture is what all the things that are currently wrong with your culture that you want
Hmm.
to change, right? Your subculture is the things that you want to see improvement in. And
Hmm.
so constantly bringing in new blood, new talent, hungry agents that obviously they believe in a vision, they want to be a contributor, but also too, they're being coached to this new subculture of, instead of 5 conversations a day being the standard for you, the subculture is 10 a day, 10 a
Hmm.
day.
Hmm.
And rising tide raises all ships, right? All ships. So 1, 2, 3 people that are showing up with that type of energy and excitement, and again showing the OGs what's possible, it gets
Hmm.
the OGs a little uncomfortable, and that creates tension, right?
Yep.
Well, when
Hmm.
you create tension within the organization or within a culture, typically that can create that tends to have people more creative, right? How
Hmm.
can I do more? They start thinking more. Creativity typically will turn into action. So then now they're taking more action,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then that's how we're up 35% this year. It was a big
Yep.
reason of that was because we were hiring to our subculture and coaching
Hmm.
to our subculture, which raised the standards overall in our culture. So,
Hmm.
but we got to keep doing it. And that's why we
Yes.
got
Yeah.
stagnant. And this was a
Hmm.
great reminder to get back to it. So that was good.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, let's see. Another thing from Dustin, one of his quotes, Dustin Runyon, complexity is the fancy form of avoidance. So a lot of times we know what we need to do, but we make it so complex. Or he also talked about the different flavors of avoidance, whether it's
Mhm.
you're a perfectionist, you're an overthinker, you're a procrastinator, and just talked about some of the inner work. To help break through some of those things that you're stereotyping yourself with, essentially. Um, but yeah, complexity is a fancy form of avoidance, and we've all been guilty of this. Of
Mhm.
I just need to make this phone call, or I just need to make this email. But wait, before I do this, let me do X, Y, Z to make sure it's perfect, or whatever it might be. So that is definitely a big one. Um, and then there's no such thing as a business problem. It's a personal problem that is affecting your business. That is so true. And all of the agents that we worked with, us even, I mean, we've seen it time and time again, of it's going to bleed into your business life. Anything that you have doubts with in your personal life, anything that you're struggling with, whether your identity, the deep work that you aren't doing, stuff like that, it's going to show up in your business, because you can't avoid it. It's not just like you can walk in the door and shut out your personal life. It all goes together. It's that work
Mhm.
life rhythm, that people try to completely separate, but you can't.
That's so good. Yeah, I was going to be
Mhm.
the next thing I'll say is like
Yeah.
work-life balance is a joke. Now,
Hmm.
work-life rhythm is the goal, because what shows up in private, like what happens in private, will show up in front of people. And so, like your life and your business are this one thing, and understanding that um, your identity is the strongest force, right?
Hmm.
Like going with the not being afraid of the deep work. And
Hmm.
a lot of us, we want to underthink, and or a lot of us want to um underact and overthink everything, right?
Hmm.
What we heard was you need to underthink and overact. And
Hmm.
whether that's in doing the core activities to build your business as an agent, or from a team leader standpoint, me being able to continue to build the company up with bringing in new talent and stuff like that,
Mhm.
all the way down to like, the deep work of, oh, I need to start working on my mental health. I need to start working on my physical health. I need to start
Mhm.
working on my spiritual health. I need to start working on my relationships, right? But
Yeah.
that deep work, we tend to just overthink everything, and it
Mhm.
prevents us from even taking a step forward. So that's good. Um, Man, I like this. Weak leaders allow emotions to make decisions. Strong leaders allow principles to make decisions. I think that's a
Mhm.
good one too. That is
Mhm.
very
And
good.
we've been there. We've been there to where we keep people for too long or allow people to stay for too long when we know that they weren't meeting some of the things that we wanted them to meet, whether it be during their onboarding, they weren't meeting some of our standards, and we
Mhm.
kept them around. But honestly, it shows weakness for us, and it shows uh, in a strange way selfishness because we are thinking like, oh, we can help them if we just like do XYZ, or but they could be real estate just might not be for them. The
Yep.
discipline, they just aren't ready for that in their life. And so we're holding them back from a different opportunity that might suit them better by just keeping them around, by being weak because we're feeling our emotions rather than, hey, this is what we expected. You weren't meeting it. So we have to part ways. So it's honestly a courtesy to them to be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep. That's good. That's good. Um, so what Dustin was talking about, the top three things why people are not
Yeah.
moving forward in their business: conflict, conditions, and alignment at home.
Mhm.
Conflict, conditions, and alignment at home. He did a master class on unpacking that stuff.
Mhm.
But that was very, the one that stood out to me the most was alignment at home, as
Yeah.
far as like
Mhm.
I was thanking God for, because
Mhm.
I feel like for me that had to have been number one for me to even get to
Mhm.
where I'm at today, being in real
Yeah.
estate for a decade now. Is I needed the alignment at home. But another reason why it stood out to me is because actually there are people that we know, me and Amanda, who
Mhm.
did not have alignment at home, and it
Mhm.
caused issues and conflict in relationships, and then it got a little messy. And
Mhm.
I'm sure there was some things that needed to be worked through. So the alignment at home is just extremely critical
Yeah.
if you want to build something special. Because
Mhm.
I think he said, "What if you don't have those three, and you're doing a deep work, but you're just become a resentful towards certain people or things,
Mhm.
that then turns into contempt."
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
thought that was good.
Yeah.
You have anything to add to that?
I mean, yeah, it is so critical because when you do want to build something big and you get clear on your vision and your standards and boundaries, all of that stuff were things that he talked about. You have to have that alignment at home. You have to have that buy-in as well because
Yep.
it's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take late nights, early mornings. It's going to take just personal development and growing as a person, whether it's like even just down to like, hey, I want to eat healthier, and people can definitely relate to that. You want to lose some weight, get healthier for your family, for your kids. That also takes alignment at home, even just something like that of, hey, I'm going to be eating healthy. I'm going to be meal prepping my food. If you guys are getting McDonald's every single night, that's going to really like, I'm going to struggle with some of my goals here. So even just something like that, you have to have alignment at home. But it relates into building a business as well of, the late nights, the early mornings, getting better in your personal life. You have to have that buy-in. Otherwise, if you're growing and everyone else is staying stagnant or making you feel guilty for growing, then you're a lot less likely to grow, or you're going to be a lot more unhappy if you don't have that alignment in at home. So getting everybody, all the family, just bought in on the path and how it's going to
Mhm.
help benefit your family life and all of that stuff. And then if you are able to get that alignment, then you see growth from them as well, which is definitely rewarding.
That's good. I like it. Um, your profit and loss is a personal development issue. I thought that
Yep.
was super good.
Hmm.
It's true. Get ruthless about your standards and boundaries, and that's something
Hmm.
that I'm definitely working on myself. Having more boundaries,
Mhm.
and also boundaries to, meaning like for me, who I give my energy to
Yeah.
on
Mhm.
a consistent basis. I actually sent out an email to the team that I won't read because it's internal, but it was talking about the it was essentially talking about being someone of integrity and not being a fraud. And if you're saying that you're this type of person and your actions are not backing that up, I don't want to freaking hear it.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Mhm.
hear it. So I thought that get ruthless about your standards and boundaries. I feel like that I needed permission to say,
Mhm.
you know what, you're right. Like I need to be that way because otherwise I'm just putting energy into things that down the road where it's preventing us from moving at a pace that we need to go.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm
Mhm.
putting energy into other things. So I thought that was very good. One other
Yeah.
thing that I learned this from Matt, and when he said it, I looked at you, was we add something to the P&L, we delete two.
Mhm. Mhm.
I like that as a
Yep.
general framework because to me,
100%.
if you Amanda knows this, you guys don't know this, but I know I can get excited and want to add stuff
Mhm.
to what we're already doing, and knowing that what we're already doing, we're probably not even doing it at the highest level, so we could probably
Yeah.
maximize what we're currently doing before we
Mhm.
add more. But I do get shiny object syndrome. I get that,
Mhm.
and I want to just add something. And
Mhm.
now I like the framework of if we add one thing, we need to look on the P&L and delete two before
Mhm.
we add
Yep.
something. So I really like that. That was good.
Yeah, that was a great one. Definitely. And we had a meeting with our accountant yesterday, and we have another one in just a couple of weeks just to review everything and just get back on track with some of that stuff because it is so important. One quote that he mentioned with that was when you narrow your focus, you expand your potential. And a lot of
Mhm.
times we just have, again, like you said, all these shiny objects. And I mean, especially when it comes to like different systems or value adds, half the team isn't even using some of that stuff. So it's like we are spending all this money on different things that sound really nice, but the use isn't there.
Mhm.
Or even just objects to help with our capacity, where we could have just been more efficient in different areas to help out with some of that stuff, or maybe there was something different we could have tweaked. But yes, add one thing, remove two is a great mindset to have for sure.
It's good. It's good. Cool. Yeah, but what else do you got, AD?
Other leadership ones, especially that like Matt was talking about, because him and Dustin really dove into some of that stuff. But Matt was talking about how leadership is a mirror. Um, so it's a mirror of what's going on in your organization, what's going on in your life. Again, what have you done to create all of that stuff? The speed of the leader determines the pace of the pack. So your
Mm,
organization, or if you're an agent, your business is not going to grow if you're not growing, because there's no room for anything to grow within that. So those are some great takeaways. Let's see. Um, Again, just recruiting, recruiting, recruiting on so many different things. And then there were so many people that went super tactical. Like Alec Cheplak went very tactical on marketing plans and how to build up your marketing plan, how many posts you should be doing daily, how many emails you should be sending out each week. All of that different stuff, how to track some of that, just building out some of those plans. His wife Shannon, she went deep into nutrition and health and all of that stuff. The macros you should, she gave like a whole deep dive nutrition 101 and or just health 101 essentially because she talked about exercise and all of that stuff within it. And so that was great. So there's tactical stuff there. There's tactical stuff and some coaching layouts, some how certain teams divvy up their coaching. So that way it helps give team leaders and sales managers time back, give them more capacity to go deeper with certain people. So there were people who talked about that and how they set up their coaching for their organization. A few people talked about onboarding, how they're able to onboard. Because with all this recruiting, if you don't have a solid onboarding system, like you're doing it for nothing, essentially.
mhm.
just like as an agent, if you're having this great lead flow but you don't know how to follow up with anybody or don't have systems and processes in place to follow up, then you're just wasting so much time and money, because all of those opportunities are just falling to the wayside essentially. So lots of people talked about onboarding programs, how they've specifically set up their onboarding, fun things that they do to help really build habits during the onboarding period, so that way when the agent is done with onboarding, they have the habits of a successful real estate agent. They have those habits that you want them to have based on recruiting to your subculture. So that's always fun. And I know every time we have people come through our onboarding, we're always looking to, I mean, essentially tear it down and start from the beginning because we're like want to tweak it every single time. But so many great things there. Nikki, who is with Easy Home Search and Digital Maverick and is the conversion queen, essentially. Just so amazing. She gave such an amazing one that we can't wait to share with our agents, just about dialogue and talking to leads and not even talking to like potential buyers and sellers, but it was great for even people in leadership to be able to hear of how to communicate with the agents, how to communicate with potential recruits, because it all flows hand in hand. And then people gave more tactical information on how they're building out funnels to gather potential recruits, how they're building literally step by step, how they're building out webinar funnels, how they're building out all of these different things and their process behind all of it and some of the why behind it. So all of that stuff is just great to be able to sit in
Mhm.
those rooms and just gather all of that knowledge and be able to piece together the things that you want to make a priority.
Yep, that's good. That's good.
Mhm.
Let's get ready to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Before we do, we talked a lot about leadership. We talked a lot
Mhm.
about recruiting. We talked a lot about like the mindset stuff. I'm going to end it. And Amanda, if you have anything to end it that's more tactical for our agents that are watching us,
Yeah.
let's do that and then we'll wrap it up. So the basics still work. The
Mhm.
basics still win. Okay. Here are the basics that still win. Daily role play. You have to practice what to say and how to say it every day. You cannot look me in my eye and say, "Hey, I want to get paid like an athlete, or I want to make six figures, right? Or I want to." And here's the thing: I had a coaching call yesterday with John Cheplak and a few other people, and Amanda was on there for a little bit,
Mhm.
and the percentage of people that are going to close over 20 deals this year is less than 1%. It's like 1%, if that. I think it was 24 deals. Maybe it was 24 deals. It was like 1% or maybe a little less than 1%. That's crazy.
Mhm.
So if you want to earn six figures or you want to make money like an athlete, well, you better start behaving like one.
Mhm.
Right now, I can guarantee you Steph Curry is either working on his body or he's working on his craft right now.
Mhm.
He's probably doing a workout or he's lifting or he's getting shots up. His shot and his body, that's his craft. We as real estate professionals, our craft is effective communication, knowing how to talk to people and building rapport and really, transferring that trust. You got to practice every day. Two, conversations are the needle mover.
Mhm.
Conversations, at least, and again, this is for where we're at, our team, our market, the
Mhm.
season, 35 conversations minimum a week, period. 2 minute, 35 2-minute phone conversations per week. And that should be your minimum standard. So 7 a day if you're working 5 days a week in prospecting. And
Mhm.
that's a non-negotiable. There are elite teams out there that their standard is 20 a day, 20
Mhm.
conversations a day. Okay. What's stopping you from getting 7 a day? Come on now.
Mhm.
You got to meet someone every day. You got to meet. So you got to set appointments and hopefully you're meeting with somebody every day. And that could be an open house, that could be an actual appointment, right? But you got to get in front of people. That's one of the best ways to influence somebody is belly to belly, talking to
Mhm.
somebody in person. You got to get in front of people. And then do not get sidetracked with all the hacks, or you
Mhm.
can do this amount of deals without having to lift your finger, or
Mhm.
here's a way to never have to make a prospecting call ever in your a day in your life. That is all bullshit. You got to focus on doing the basics. Longevity will come from doing the thing consistently over time, not some BS hack.
Mhm.
Okay. Like those are my tactical, like agent. If you want to have an incredible fourth quarter and first quarter, the basics that win are what I just mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to go back to role play, just one great tactical piece that Nikki had mentioned was the process of how to role play, especially if maybe you don't have somebody to role play with at that time and
Mhm.
it's in your schedule to role play. She mentioned to record a video of yourself role playing. So you'll record a video of yourself role playing. You're going to listen to it back. So you're not going to look at it, you're going to listen to it back. The second time, you're going to watch it, you're going to put it on mute, and you're just going to watch your body language. What is that putting across? How is that being interpreted? And then you'll listen and watch it. So you'll just put the video on play. And that's just a great way to be able to essentially practice 4 times because you're recording it, you're listening to it, you're watching it, and then you're listening and watching. And so that's a great way to just kind of build some of those habits of role play. But biggest thing is, yeah, all the tactical stuff that you said, get alignment at home and get around people who are accomplishing and achieving the things that you want to accomplish and achieve at a high level. And maybe that they've been doing it for a little while. So you know that there's some repetition there for them. It's not just like a one hit wonder kind of year. They
Mhm.
got lucky or anything like that. But get around those people, get into some of those rooms, but don't use it as a distraction because really they're going to be saying the same thing that we're saying right now because we're literally taking this from our notes and it's stuff that we've said even before going to this event. But it's just a reminder of
Yep.
the basics work essentially.
Mhm. Yeah, we don't need to be taught more
Yeah.
things, or we don't need to
Mhm.
learn more things. We need to
Yeah.
be reminded more of the things that we already know. Further, we need
Mhm.
to take action on what we know.
Yeah.
Yep, and
Mhm.
that's good because a lot of the stuff that we heard, some of it was new, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but a lot of it was just, yeah, I should probably do that, and I've known to do that
Mhm.
for a couple years now,
Yeah.
so it's
Mhm.
time. So, good stuff. Well, the good news is we are believers in self-development,
Mhm.
business development. This will not be the last event that we go to. As a matter of fact, we will be going to another one here in about a month and a half, or not about 2 months,
Yeah.
about two
Yep.
months, Conversion Con. So we went to that one last year and we actually did a podcast episode breaking down
Mhm.
our takeaways from that. So we will do that again here in a few months. But Amanda, appreciate you as
Yeah,
always.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thanks for hopping on here and sharing your insight and your time. If you guys have any questions for Amanda, she's easily reachable at
Mhm.
Facebook or
Mhm.
Amanda at slreg.com.
Yep.
She's our operator in the business, our director of operations. So if you have
Mhm.
somebody who wants to connect with her, maybe get some ideas, mastermind, she's a great person to tap into. So
Mhm.
me, you know where to find me. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening, please leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. We're committed to adding value to you guys to help you guys grow. And like always, y'all be strong out there. See you on the next one. Peace.
Yeah.